Hello and welcome to a look at Evolve. So Evolve is in alpha and they did a test weekend, and this is some gameplay from that weekend. Now I should point out that I don't know much about Evolve. I only played it for a couple of hours, so this is kind of my first look at it. And here's one of the things that I found wrong with this alpha. The very first time you play it, it asks you to pick your favourite character classes and put them into order. And this is before you've even played the game. So how do you know which your favourite class is going to be before you've even started? So I just bang them in any old order. Another problem that I had with this alpha is the matchmaking system. It takes forever to find a game. Now I've chopped about 4 minutes out of this little section with a spinny wheel where it's trying to find a game, and when it does find a game, the levels that it's picked for people are a bit odd. You'll see when they appear across the bottom that we have 3 people at level 1, as in they've only just started playing the game, but what turns out to be the monster is level 13. So there's no real balancing done there. Somebody who's played the game quite a bit is playing the monster. Bunch of people for whom it's their first time are playing the hunters. So now we're loading the map in, which is Fusion Plant. This is my very first game of Evolve, so I know absolutely nothing about it as the map loads. I don't know the map, I don't know the support class, I don't know the game at all really. Now the graphics you're going to see are the game running at its default settings, so this is just how the game came when I downloaded it. I haven't changed anything, haven't changed any of the graphics options, any of the audio options or any of the key bindings. I'm just running it straight off the bat because, like I say, it's the first game, so I don't know how it should be set up or how it's going to perform. And even though we've just gone through the map loading screen, we've now got another loading screen. We're waiting for the other players, and that comes to 4 different screens where it sits there waiting for a round to start for no apparent reason. I don't know why it takes so long. This isn't running on my SSD, it's running on my standard hard drive, so it's not like I'll have hardwired my way ahead of everybody else, but it just takes forever to load, and I don't know why. So the game has given me the support role, which gives you a laser cutter, which is your weapon. You have the shield projector, which lets you armour somebody up, a bit like you'll see in TF2. They won't take any damage while you've got shield projector on them. You have a stealth device which lets you hide yourself and anybody who's close by you, and you have an orbital strike, which is basically calling in a bomb from above. Now here again there's a loading screen while we're waiting for things. We're waiting for the other players to select what their loadout is. So why didn't it do this while the map was loading? We could have gone through the character screen and build our characters while the map was loading in the background, rather than have it as yet another loading screen that's just sitting here. It's a frustrating game that takes like 8 minutes to get into a round. But again, this is the alpha, so maybe it's just slow, and when the game comes out it'll be much quicker. But it's this kind of thing that really puts me off a game. I would much rather it was sleek and streamlined and told you what it was doing rather than just sitting there going loading. So there we have the 4 classes: the hunter, the support, the assault and the medic. And what you're about to see is a little tutorial for the support, which describes all the gadgets that you've got in game. So I'll let you have a listen to the tutorial.
Hank is the support class. He provides the team with a tactical advantage. Use the shield projector on a fellow hunter to block all damage dealt to them. Support's cloak ability is the team's best tool to recover from a losing fight, Activate Cloak to revive teammates or flee the fight unseen. When in combat, use the laser cutter to deal heavy damage. Aim the orbital barrage, then deploy it to rain down death from above.
So that's the tutorial you get, with a loading screen to bring it up and a loading screen when it ends. So this game really likes its loading screens. And that tutorial is actually pretty good. It shows you what the class can do. Now we're going to go into an intro for the start of the round.
Hey, Maggie, when you bought Daisy, what did you think you'd be using her for?
Not this.
That's what I figured.
Factor was a rough colony, violent. Once I had Ruva here, no one wanted to mess with me.
It's sorta nice. She probably would have spent her life barking at people. Now she gets to hunt, really be part of a pack. You can tell she likes it.
Yeah, I never thought about it. Whatever else, this isn't boring.
No, it is not.
So, this is it. We are finally playing Evolve. After all those loading screens and intros and tutorials, we've now got into the game. And I have to say it's a pretty good looking game. At some points the graphics are a bit console-y, but overall it's got a clear interface, it's got good graphics, doesn't go for lots of blurring effects, it's just a nice looking game. Monster design seems pretty good, the character design seems pretty good, and you can customise the characters with little add-ons and things later. So in terms of graphics, audio and character movement and weapons, everything seems pretty good with Evolve. The problem I have with it is the gameplay. Now, I was expecting this to be 4 people versus 1 person, getting into the action, trying to hunt the monster, there being tactics and various different elements to killing the monster. It isn't that at all. The first half of the round is PvE. It's the players versus the monsters that are in the environment. So there are certain monsters out there which will just attack you, like that little thing that I've just shot. And there are certain bigger monsters that when you kill them you can collect buffs from them. So you'll get things like a plus 5% damage buff. The hunters are following the monster's tracks to get to the monster, and they're also trying to kill off things in the environment that will give them buffs. The monster is trying to eat things to get its level up. There you can see the monster has reached stage 2, and the monster's goal is to reach stage 3, and then it can attack the power relay, which is kind of the monster's objective. It can either kill all the players or it can take out the power relay. But there's no way for the players to get to the monster before it has a chance to get to stage 3. There's actually a physical barrier separating the hunters and the monsters at the start of the round. The monster has plenty of time to go out and do its own little PvE game while the hunters are doing their PvE game, and then they'll meet up sometime in the middle. And it just seems to take away an element of the PvP, because it's not like you're trying to stop the monster evolving. You can't do anything about it, it seems. The monster's playing its game, the hunters are playing their game, and eventually they'll meet up and fight. The problem for the hunters is the group sticking together. So here you can see we're taking on one of these big guys, and it's just me and the assault. So I pull out the shield projector and power up the assault so he doesn't take any damage, and we kill that off, but the others have just run off past it. Now I may have missed some cunning tactical options in this PvE part, but it doesn't seem to achieve much. And here you can see the barrier that's physically stopping us getting to the monster. Now, I'd have thought you would be able to try and slow down the monster, stop it evolving and reaching stage 3, I don't know. The game's called Evolve, but the evolution seems to be PvE, not PvP. Like I say, I may have missed this. This is just my impressions after playing it for an afternoon, but the gameplay just doesn't quite seem to be there. You're just fighting a fully evolved monster every time. So now the shield's dropped, we can get through towards the monster. But what we have to do is defend the power relay, because the monster's evolved and it's able to take the power relay down, which is one of the ways the monster can win. Now, I'm not saying the gameplay is bad. The game from the point at which the barrier goes down is good. But I think there should be more opportunity for the hunters to go out and zerg the monster and try and take it down when it hasn't evolved. Now, here you can see one of the buffs. Now, I missed it at first because I wasn't sure what the hell's going on at this point. But you can see the little red icon points me back towards it. So I go back and have a look to see what it is. And this is going to give me a buff. I'm still not sure if this buff applies to my weapon because it says bullets poison the monster. But does my gun actually shoot bullets? I don't know. Now, this part of the game is a lot of fun. The jetpacks work really nicely. It's a very smooth movement and it lets you gain height or move across the map a lot faster than you would do on foot. So it gives you some more movement options and some height options, and the terrain is pretty good for fighting in. Now, we get kind of bogged down in a building fighting the monster, so some of the options I have, like the Orbital Strike, they won't come into play because the monster's indoors. But as you can see, for a 4 versus 1 game, the environment is really big. There's a lot of detail in it, and it's massive. It's a really large map. But for us, the fighting comes down to this one building. All the fighting against the monster is in here, because it's evolved to the point where it can take down this power relay. So we're defending the power relay and waiting for the monster to come to us. 3 of us have never played this game before, and the other hunter, I think he's level 5, so has probably played 2 or 3 games. So we really have no idea what we're doing, and we're facing a level 13 monster. So the monster's arrived, and as you can see, it's got a damage bar. Now, I tried the Orbital Strike, but it will not work indoors. So I change round to normal gun and try and take it on, because I don't know what else I should be doing. I have no idea what any of the other characters' abilities are, so I'm pretty much just playing it solo and trying to work out what I should be doing at this point. I'm pretty much just shooting at the monster and trying to take it down. Now, the green band you can see there is the healer doing his healing, and I'm trying to stay up out of the action, shooting the monster, and I'm not sure what else I should do. So I try taking out the shielding unit and shielding the healer, because I think that might be a good idea, but I just don't know. There are 4 distinct classes with individual roles, so there's got to be a perfect setup and a way that we should all be working together. But how do you know? Because it's just not explained. There's no tutorial really to say, right, what you should be doing is helping your assault out. I guess I should be shielding that guy, but it's just not sure. So I go into stealth and revive him, because that's what it said in the tutorial for the class. You know, stealth is useful for reviving people, so I stealth and revive. But it seems the medic died anyway. So what do I think of Evolve? well, it's a good game, it's just not my kind of game. I really don't like the class-specific roles within games where if you don't do your part and if you don't do your role exactly right, your team loses. And then you get the whole griefing chat, you know, it's the Dalter and Lol situation. Yeah, you weren't carrying properly, you weren't in the jungle properly. You know, I really don't like those kind of games whereby the learning curve is so steep, but the amount of hassle you get while you're learning just makes the game no fun. Now, here I make a big mistake because when I should have stayed in stealth, I didn't, and I shot, and I didn't realise that shooting was instantly going to break my stealth, so I blew the game and apparently lost us the round. You know, it's my first ever game, I didn't know, but one of the other players just starts griefing in the chat, and I just too old to deal with that kind of stuff. So Evolve looks like a good game, it's well polished, the graphics are good, but it's just not a game for me. It's like Dota and LoL, it's just too much hassle. I don't like games where one mistake that you make can cost your entire team a round. So it's just not for me, I'm afraid. I probably won't be playing Evolve. Playing the monster is great fun. There, you're on your own and you can just do what you want. Playing as the hunters really reminds me of multiplayer in Borderlands, but whereas multiplayer in Borderlands was just a bunch of people getting together and having fun, in Evolve, because there's win conditions for the rounds, it just turns it into hassle and stress, and I'm just too old for that.